guess, Tom, the big question is, what impact has Superstorm Sandy had on our homeowners here on the island?
Well, a lot of people think that Sandy is the reason all these changes are happening, but the truth of the matter is the two big changes, the one being the passage of flood insurance reform, that happened back in July of last year. So that was happening even before Sandy
Really?
hit. Yes. Now, most policyholders won't start to see the pricing changes until early this year. Secondary homes are going to see pricing changes first, and then primary owners are going to see pricing changes next year. But essentially, the pricing changes are going to be for most homeowners who are non-compliant with the flood requirements today. So any home prior to 75, I call a non-compliant structure. Essentially, FEMA calls it a pre-firm structure. So those older homes built before 75, their premiums are going to essentially double over a 5-year period of time. So, a 100% increase sounds like a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not thousands and thousands and thousands. So that was happening first. FEMA had decided after Hurricane Katrina that they had to increase the pricing. The program was about $19 billion in debt. And I think Congress is trying to make every program self-supporting. So the first matter was eliminating the grandfathering or subsidies for these older properties. The good news is this reform is extending the program for 5 years. And we haven't had that for years.
That's great news.
It really is.
Great news. As a real estate professional, we read up on all the things that would affect real estate, and it's, there's an awful lot of things that are out there, ancillary things attached to your home down here, especially on a barrier island like Ocean City. And I remember there's some challenges for them to renew this flood insurance program about a year or so ago, and thank God it happened.
Yeah, it was very frustrating to our clients who were buying new homes, and we would have to notify them, hey, the program is going into a temporary hold next Friday, and we'd be reaching out, settle Thursday, or we don't know when it's going to be. And there was periods of time that a couple days or a week or so would go by, and we really became a political football. So we're very happy that FEMA decided to renew the program for 5 years.
So if you can, dispel the rumors about pricing. I mean, I get phone calls, I have people, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to afford my flood insurance anymore. Is it, what type of impact will this price change have on real estate values here on the island?
Well, the bigger waters reform really is not going to have the dramatic effect on most customers. What you're really asking more refers back to this change in the maps. So the second big thing that happened was, and it was also happening prior to Sandy, the flood insurance maps had not been updated in over 25 years. So this project started many years ago, and it was originally going to be, the new maps were going to be released this fall. With Sandy, it got delayed, and then it was going to be next fall. And with the updates, they knew that some properties were going to move from an A zone, which is really the better zone to be in when you're on a barrier island.
Now you say better because
it's further from the water. I guess it's not better.
People,
and the other zone is the V zone property, who are paying more for their properties because they live on the beach in the bay, and they're closer to water, and there's more of a probability of that type of structure having damage in it. So what the problem is some homeowners that were in the A zone in the past are moving into this new V zone. That will not affect insurance until 2015 at the very earliest. What FEMA did was release these new maps as advisory. They're called advisory flood elevation maps. And really, they're just for homeowners that are building new today, a brand new structure, or a home that has been substantially damaged by flood waters, or just a renovation, a substantial renovation. And FEMA calls it substantial renovation or substantial damage as the flood claim equals 50% of the market value of the home. And we simply tell the owner to look at their tax bill. You see a land value, you see an improvement value. The improvement is the market value of the home. So if your flood damage exceeds 50% of that value, then you have to bring that home into compliance. So today, the maps really are just for homeowners that are elevating their structures because they've had substantial damage, or for a new owner or developer that wants to build a new building and make it compliant with the future of flood.
Sounds complicated.
It is a little bit complicated, but simply put, the maps are really just helping structures to be higher and safer so that there's less damage in the future.
So to tie this in, tying it in a little more with real estate, do you see this as a positive, these changes as a positive or a negative impact on real estate and the homeowners and the values of their homes here on the island?
Well, most change is painful in the short run, and certainly there's going to be some owners out there that didn't have enough damage to elevate their structure, and for those people, I feel very badly for. People have been, real estate's an investment, and if they feel that the structure is no longer a part of that investment, they still own the land, but maybe the value of their total investment has declined by the value of the structure, then those people have taken a hit. But in the long run, we are going to have an island that is able to withstand this type of flood damage in a better way. I know a few years ago there was a conversation about raising the bulkheads, and there was a group of people that weren't real happy about it. And over time, they decided it was the best thing for everyone. And I think we're now seeing that with raising homes and making them more compliant and able to withstand damage by flood. So at the end of the day, we're going to have safer homes. They're going to be higher off the ground. And additionally, and most people aren't even talking about this, every community gets a discount for how compliant they are with the FEMA regulations. Ocean City has a 15...
Did you hear that? There's a discount.
Well,
you haven't heard that word in a while.
And I'll tell you what, the discount becomes more important as the rates climb. Ocean City gets a 15% discount today, and the more compliant our structures are, the higher the discount will be.
Now, if I'm correct, in this, I understand the city of Ocean City as well, though, zoning and construction office is really taking a proactive approach to the upcoming flood issues and height issues.
They are.
So that we can remain reasonable here versus some other communities that may not have that opportunity over the next year.
They are. And as a matter of fact, Ocean City has 3 certified floodplain managers. Most communities don't even have one. And I think there's only 25 or 30 in the entire state. So Ocean City has many trained people. If a homeowner has questions, I know the construction office really wants the homeowner to reach out. They're starting to collect the elevation certificates on homes and post them on the website. If you go to ocnj.us, they have a great page for flood insurance, explains what's happening nationally, explains how some measurement changes that are taking place. At the same time, there's some wacky things that are happening in the way you measure elevation, so that's changing, and Ocean City's website has a little description on that. So I think at the end of the day, we're going to have a safer community with better structures. But it's going to be painful along the way.
Well, it's change.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you for Tom coming out today, and I failed to mention this, but this will be possibly one of a 2 or 3 part series. There are some other things that we'd like to do. We'd like to attach many of you receiving this video. There'll be attachment. Look for this attachment, which is a brochure, an informational brochure that Tom has put together for you that will explain. Why don't you tell them what's it going to explain? Because I know there's a couple topics.
Yeah, well, some homeowners in town are going to be more affected than others. If your home moves from an A zone to a V zone, it's going to affect your structure. Additionally, if your home moves from one zone to the other, but it's an older home, it's built prior to 75, so it's real low to the ground, those people are going to have the most dramatic pricing increases at some point in the future. But remember, it's not until 2015 at the very earliest. So we're going to put together a little cheat sheet to help a homeowner understand how their home is affected in relationship to other homes, and then also to how to understand this new measurement process that the
Now,
city is using.
may I ask you a favor when you put this thing together? Can you put any websites that would be helpful to the great customers and clients that I've had the last 25 years?
I will, but let me leave you
I
with
think it would
one.
be really helpful.
Right now, you can see if your home is going to be moving or potentially could move to a new zone. We won't know for sure until they're formally adopted in 2015. Again, it's an advisory map. If the homeowner goes to the website region2coastal.com /Sandy/table, it'll take them right to a page. We'll give you that website as well on our handout, and you can type in your address and see if at some point in the future your home may change zones, and if so, what the new elevation requirement will be in that zone.